More than 5 decades after the Beatles breakup, Paul McCartney has opened up about the deep emotional wounds that followed the split, and how his anger toward John Lennon found its outlet through music. In a candid interview, McCartney admitted that the collapse of the Beatles in 1970 left him devastated, and that his hurt feelings were a major factor behind the musical sparring that took place between him and Lennon in the years that followed. "I was very angry and very upset," McCartney said. "It felt like a family was falling apart. The Beatles were such a big part of our lives, and when it ended, I didn't know how to deal with all the emotion. So, like we often did, I turned to music." That emotion boiled over into a very public feud, most notably when John Lennon released the song "How Do You Sleep" in 1971. The song, widely interpreted as a direct attack on McCartney, accused him of being superficial and irrelevant without the Beatles. "John didn't hold back," McCartney said. "That one really stung. I remember thinking, what did I do to deserve this? It was harsh, and it came from someone I loved like a brother." Not one to stay silent, McCartney responded with his own musical retort on his album Ram, released the same year. His track, "Too Many People," contained veiled jabs at Lennon, referencing what McCartney saw as Lennon's self-righteous behavior following the breakup. "That was me firing back," McCartney explained. "There were lines aimed at John, not directly, but pointed enough that he knew. I was upset and needed to express it somehow. We were both angry and dealing with things in our own ways. For better or worse, our songs became the conversation we couldn't have in person." However, the feud eventually softened, and McCartney sought reconciliation not just through words, but again through music. Later in 1971, he released "Dear Friend," a haunting ballad that marked a turning point in his relationship with Lennon. "Dear Friend was my way of saying, 'Let's stop this now,'" McCartney said. The lyrics ask, "Is this really the borderline?" It was a question. Are we really going to keep hurting each other, or can we remember what we had? It was a peace offering. The two would eventually reconcile in the years before Lennon's tragic murder in 1980. McCartney said he's grateful they had a chance to reconnect before it was too late. "We found our way back to friendship," he said. "That means more to me than any hit song or headline." Looking back, McCartney says the feud was painful but human, a reflection of two artists navigating the collapse of something extraordinary. "We were just two guys trying to make sense of it all," he said. "The important thing is, in the end, we remembered the love."